school fees increment saga. That's what we're talking about on Flipside. Now, I have a list of some schools that have increased their fees in the past 1 year and maybe some months. And I have University of Lagos, Unilag. It was charging about 14,500, but right now we are charging 63,500 as their tuition fee. We have institutions like Ahmadu Bello University, ABU Zaria. It has moved from 27,000 to about 41,000 naira as tuition fee. Obafemi Awolowo University moved from 19,700 to 55,000 naira. We have Nnamdi Azikiwe University from 20,000 to 65,920 naira. I don't know what the 20 naira is for. We also have University of Benin that moved from 12,000 at some point to 49,500. I don't even know about what they pay right now. We also have University of Ilorin from 16,000 to 75,000. I know that is what they're paying as of this year. We also have universities like Federal University of Technology, Futa, Akure, from 13,560 naira to 83,940. That's a lot. We have University of Calabar, small increment, 30,500 to 42,750. That was at SAT 2016. I don't know about 2018. We also have schools like Federal College of Education, Akoka. It moved from 16,000 to 40,000 naira. Then Osun State University moved from 95,000 naira to 135,500 naira. Anambra State University moved from 76,000 naira to 139,000 naira. Then Lagos State University, Baba, moved from 96,750 to 158,250 naira. Well, if we want to talk about private universities, I think we would even be more scared. But let's say Plateau first. Plateau State University moved from 50,000 to 100,000. That's what they're paying right now. Private universities, Afe Babalola University moved from 675,000 to 1,075,000 naira. Igbonejo University Okada moved from 540,000 to 820,000 naira. Redeemers University moved from 545,000 to about 605,000 thereabout. Covenant moved from 774 to about 814. And Benson Dausa University, at some point they were paying 284,000 naira for school fees, but right now some people are paying about 1,150,000 naira. Interesting. Well, this is just for parents to have a little idea, a fair idea of what the fees are like right now. We don't know about what they will be in another 4 or 5 years. I have 2 guests in the house. You need to meet them. I have seated very close to me Professor Julius Iyasele. He's the ASU chairman. Iniben, lecturer too. You're welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Good afternoon.
And also to our viewers.
And next to him is a gorgeous woman. You've met her once, but you're meeting her again today. I have Professor Meg Abikwe. Good to have you on the show. And she's from Benson Idahosa University.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, talking about this increments in school fees, I want to ask you, sir, Professor Julius, is it, because a lot of people, we did a street survey, and a lot of people said it's just a political strategy to keep the poor from going to school. A person who pays a school fees as low as 50,000 naira, there's just an instant hike, 100,000. And with the current economic situation, do you really think it's a political agenda to make the poor stay out of schools?
Well, that might not be the immediate reason.
Okay.
It could be remote. But the immediate reason is that the government has relieved on her responsibility to the people. It is a time to say to your tent, O Israel. Currently, I think we have a total failure of government in terms of anything, including responsibility to our people. It's very, very unfortunate. Till now, you will still hear in the federal universities that we are not charging school fees. What instead? They tell you that charges are different from school fees. School fees directly is tuition fees. They tell you in the federal university, no tuition. is charges. We are lying to ourselves. We are hiding from our shadows. That is the real truth, the baseline. It's very, very unfortunate. But why I say remote is because in the end, it's the poor man's child that can't go to school anymore. Whereas internationally, what you are saying now, there are so many universities. If you click on the net, you swap the net, you will see that there are so many universities internationally now asking for free. Once you are good and you are a university material, you now can go to school.
Scholarship.
Free scholarship everywhere, all over the world. Meanwhile, that is why I said Nigeria is an inverted pyramid. It's sitting on its apex. That is it, not on the base. That is what we have in the country.
Okay. Now, Professor Meg, we have about 11 million primary school children as at 2017 statistics. National Bureau of Statistics said we have about 11 million primary school students who are already out of school. So it's not like they're going to eventually get to tertiary. Then we also have a lot more that will drop, by the way, at the secondary school level. And now with the increments in the tertiary, is it not going to be more of a loss to us? Because I know many people might, or I think many people might not be able to afford the fees and the continuous increase.
Thank you very much. Even right now, we find children who are already in tertiary institutions dropping out of school because of the hike in school fees. You know, government keeps increasing school fees without reference to how parents can make ends meet for their children. If you had projected maybe 100,000 in a year as a parent for maybe 2 children's school fees through the university for 1 year, and all of a sudden there's an increment with over 300%, that even that budget for 2 children cannot even cover 1 child. So what do you expect? We look forward to having a government that will be sensitive to the needs of the children. And one of the basic needs for every child is for that child to be properly educated. And I know, and I think it is the responsibility of every good government to see to it that provisions are made available for every child to have proper education.
Okay. All right, now, analyzing the schools right now, especially the government-owned schools, the federal, the state, are we getting the worth for these monies that we're told to pay? It's a big question. I am not in the school right now, but I have lecturers here who might be able to analyze. I know they're going to say they're doing their best and they're teaching well, but there are other things beyond even the teaching, the environment, the materials that you use to be taught. Are we getting the worth of the money we're paying, or the money is just good enough for what we're getting right now? What do you think, Prof?
Is everything not fake in Nigeria? Is everything not second-hand? What the people buy here now are also second-hand goods. Even the vehicles are second-hand. So even the lending we also get second-hand. It's also fake. Everything, you understand? A man that has not been well paid, you get to a classroom, you don't get requisite environment for you to deliver your lectures very well. How can you deliver well? So at the end of it, from the baseline, everything is lopsided. How can you get the worth of whatever you are doing in a country like this? There's no way. Of course, I just came back from Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University. That is the first time I've seen, you know, a writing board that is electronic. Do you understand? I expect that that kind of board should be repeated in all the universities across the country. But unfortunately, if you come to some, even federal, you get anything near to that. But it is just to ask some of our administrators what is really the matter. Because you still get to some universities, you find that at least they are making the best out of the worst. But then you get to some, there's nothing to write home about. And then you begin to ask questions. What is the matter really? What is it? We are so wicked as a people to ourselves. That is the baseline. You get to some homes now, some children are sleeping on waterbed, whereas some are not, anything there cannot even a living, can't get 3 square meters and all that. Come to campus and see living, come and see squalor. See how Nigerian children are living. And even those who are able to even come to the campuses, how they are trying to survive. It's a very, very big pity. To talk about whether we are getting quality here, although I'll be shooting myself in the foot as a lecturer, but the truth has to be told. That is the honest truth. You come to, what you would have done, first of all, is to come to our classroom, look at the environment, look at the classroom, look at the number of students. When the class is vomiting out for the number of students that will listen to one lecturer, do you understand? I'm talking in terms of population and all that. Without most times a public address system. So how are children not getting the quality? In some, you get some environment, of course, you see called AC classrooms and all that. We have such a school in the state here now. But then, that is another story for another day.
Okay, now I want to talk about private institutions. There's this story about BIE paying over $1 million. I don't know if that's amount is even true that way. But do you think because of what they are getting in the private schools, that's why the school fees is so high?
I wouldn't tell you that that is the truth. So the fees charged depends on the particular course the child is
going to study. Okay.
Like in education now, some children still pay 200 and something thousand.
Okay.
So it depends. So I wouldn't agree with the figure you have here. But basically in private schools, they wouldn't be charging for what they are not giving. So you cannot compare the situation absolutely in the private schools with that of the public school. Like he said now, population explosion may not be noticeable in the private school. We have classrooms that can take the number of students that are provided for. Unlike the public universities where you have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 students, in a particular class and lecture. But coming to the question you asked them, whether children are benefiting or getting enough from what the parents are paying, I will agree with him to a large extent that I don't think students are getting enough compared to what we got while we were in school. When I look at children, when I look at the output, I interact with graduates today, I found out that there's a long gap between what is now and what was at that particular time. Maybe some of these issues of population explosion wasn't even there. I went to a government school, wasn't there. And we had some amenities, we had some basic things being provided by the federal government. But the big question is that where have we gone wrong? What has happened, between the last 20 years to our education? Even the students these days, because of the problems they face, they are not even in school. You find out that the population, usually it's plus when it is time for examination. You may get 200 students in a class, 300, 500, but during the exam, you get 800, 1,000. So how would they ever get enough? And he made an important point where government is so insensitive to the needs of education providers. Whether you are a teacher in the primary school or a lecturer, none is taken care of. You have to, you need to be satisfied in order to pour yourself out. So we'll find out that in most of these institutions, people are really tired, they are fed up, they are overburdened. Maybe the lecturer himself has 3 children in the university. And the increment, the school fees is increasing, the salary is stagnated. So he has issues too to contend with. How will such a person? So I think this is an avenue to call on the government, the education policy makers. Let them revisit the policy of education and let's know what we are giving out and what we can. Those days we were hearing of bursary. These days it's increment that we are hearing of. Even when I went to a federal school, we still benefited from bursary then. The government will pay your transport fare to school and back. It will calculate the mileage for you. This same Nigeria, this same country. What has gone wrong? With the increment, nothing is done. It's the same classroom structures that you still find day in, day out. I don't know how many of them are being renovated. Like it was talking about electronic board. Where do you get that? Where do you get that? It may interest you to know that some boards in our federal universities are old as 20 years. Some white chalkboard. Some don't even have at all. The classroom, the chairs are all broken. Students sit on the fence, on the walls, windows. Some sit on tables. So our education needs to be revisited, and let's have a new plan. I don't know how it's going to be done, but we hope that one day that Nigeria children will really have a taste of good education.
Okay. All right, the program, of course, is Flipside. We're talking about school fees increment saga. It's been a big issue. We've talked about, we've seen protests on the news, students carrying placards, some of them cooking on the major roads, playing football, sleeping, and doing all sorts of funny things because the fees have been increased or there's an issue or another. But has it yielded result? Because every year it keeps increasing. We're not done talking, sure. We'll go on another break. When we come back, we'll talk some more about this matter.
Yes, it's the 2018 World Cup. 32 countries in 32 days will slug it out in 11 venues in one country at Russia 2018 World Cup on June 14 to July 15, 2018. Independent Television presents 2018 World Cup Countdown Live Show with Comrade Emerson. Get the latest team news, players' profiles, the thrills and frills heralding the 2018 World Cup every Wednesday on Independent Television World Cup Live Countdown Show with Comrade Emerson. This is 1 hour of unlimited sports entertainment powered by Independent Television. This event is proudly sponsored by Global Horn Industry Limited, manufacturers of quality PVC ceilings with choice colors and importer of security doors, Kilometer 10 Benin Sapler Road by the Benin Bypass, Benin City. Saga Mobile Phone World, dealers of mobile devices such as iPhone, Samsung, Infinix, Tecno, Faro, plus repairs of mobile devices at Omegatron Plaza, 47 Airport Road, Benin City. EDS Paints and Building Accessories, manufacturers of paint such as emulsion, text coat, and oil paint for interior and exterior of your homes and offices. Kilometer 12 Benin Sapler Road by Ogege Community, Benin City. Aquagate Steel Table Water, NAFDAC and Standard Organization approved, produced by Aquagate Ventures Limited, 126 Aquagate Industrial Layout, Otofore Community, Benin Akure Road, Benin City. This event is supported by Fresh Mobile Niger, dealers of phones ranging from Tecno, Gioni, Infinix, iPhones, and lots more, laptops and accessories, 119 Upper Mission Road, opposite UBA, Benin City. Mr. Erosa Agbonifo, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, ETEC Global Limited, 64 Airport Road, Benin City. Senator Pharmacist Matthew Urokide, Senator representing Edo South Senatorial District and Chairman Senate Committee on Public Accounts. Toby Modi International Company Limited, Electronics, Electrical Merchant, Importers and Sales of all kinds of Jenny Electronics, 114 Mission Road, opposite Echo Bank, Benin City. White Waters Drum Services and Logistics Limited, producers African Softwood Soap and Ego Bathing Gel, 50 Ohoro Village, Ugbowo, Benin City. The Experience Restaurant, Fast Food and Bar, Home and Office Delivery Services available, located at KU Plaza, Sapler Road, opposite PZ Road Junction, Benin City. Ogilvy Gas Plant, a subsidiary of Ogilvy Interbase Limited, dealers of domestic cooking gas where gas are not short-filled, located at Benin Lagos Road, Iguosa Village, Benin City. Ogbe Motors Nigeria Limited, sales of all Japanese cars such as Toyota cars and SUVs, Lexus, Honda, Mercedes-Benz cars and SUVs. Ogbe Motors Nigeria Limited will sell latest models and all brands of cars, located at number 202 Sapler Road, Benin City. For advert placement and inquiries, please call the following number: 0802 3420 715, 0703 5278 527, or the Commercial Department, ITV Radio, Glasshouse Airport Road on 0708 365 2474.
Okay, the program is Flipside. If you just joined us, you've missed a part of it, but you've not missed it all. So you're still in luck. I have Professor Julius Yesele, also chairman from Uniben. He's here. And I also have Professor Meg, Doctor. Okay, it's I've promoted you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's what God is saying.
Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Meg Abikwe in the house from BIU. Okay, now, talking about the Saga. Recently, what even brought about this whole discussion, there was a protest in Ondo State. And the hike in school fees was about 30,000 to 180.
200 for law.
Oh my God, 200 for law.
That's
so,
Akumba.
Yes,
Adekunle Jackson
University. So when they heard it's easy for you to be in a school, they tell you come pay 30,000. Next semester, next session, they say come pay 50.
Shifting the goalposts while the game is on.
Yes, you know, gradual increment. They will still eventually get to that 200 you're waiting for, but it's gradual, so you don't feel the impact. But from 30 to 180, it was a huge shock. And so the students came to the streets and they protested. Normal school protest, it involves a lot of things getting broken, and the government came and said they will sit down and talk about this. But first things first, that he's certain about. It's not certain about the school fees reducing, but it's certain that the students who would stay in that school will have to pay for the damages. And that's not the first protest that has taken place in Nigeria because of increased school fees. Now, are the protests yielding results, or we should look for another strategy? What would you advise? I'm going to come to you, Professor Meg, with that question, please. Please. The protests our students are carrying because of increment in school fees, have they yielded any results, or should there be a reform? Should they think about something else that they can bring to the table for the government and the federal governments generally, so that their masses will be heard and audience given to them?
Yeah, thank you. Definitely, violence does not yield anything. Because we find out that where students gather and they want to protest about a particular issue, the protest is never peaceful. There will be some distractions, some destruction of properties, and maybe even loss of life, which is more painful. So I would say that there should be another way to dialogue, find a solution to this problem. Because you go and protest, you destroy school property. At the end, the school authority, government in quotes, will say, okay, we will look into your matter. But before we do anything, you have to pay for this damage. That is double payment for the parents. It's still coming from the parents. So I would like to use this medium to appeal to our children. Don't go on protest destroying school property. You can protest and say, this is too much. From 30 to 180, that it's, since I was born, I've not had government increase salary in that. So we are appealing to them, not protest. They can dialogue. Okay. They can talk about it. They can, you know, like now, we are talking something. They can use the media. They can use people to meet with the authority, to talk about it. Gradual increase, you definitely yield to, you definitely get to your target. That will even make the parents to be preparing. Presently, in almost every school, whether primary, secondary, or tertiary, we expect increment in every term or every year. It is expected that there will be an increase, something on top, but not that rate. So my appeal goes back to the children and even to their parents. They should please use dialogue instead of violence.
Okay. Union, you're a member of the union.
Yeah, unfortunately, I want to differ from my co-discussant, because Hitler said, if you want peace, you prepare for war. And the authoritative treatise for Christians, the Bible, is only the violent. The kingdom of God suffered violence. Only the violent taketh it by force. And so, you see, let me cite an example of dialogue. ASU started since 2003 to dialogue with government. By 2006, they agreed to come to the table to discuss. By 2009, they put to paper an agreement. By 2015, 2017, even you are aware, last year we went on strike on the same issue. By 2012, they were supposed to return back for negotiation, having, fulfilled the 2009 agreement. And by every year, they were supposed to be an increment. We've been dialoguing and dialoguing. And I must tell you that one of the solutions that will come back from our NDC meeting yesterday, where we met at ATBU Bauchi, is to return back to sensitize our congresses. We are very likely to return back to the trenches again, because we found that when you have an insensitive government, you have an insensitive people who are very, very selfish, only thinking of themselves. Many of these policy makers in this country, how many of them have children in our Nigerian universities? That is why they do whatever they like. Later the school is open. You know why violence has not produced results in this country? Because the children went destroying their own property. That was not wise enough. All that they needed to do is return back to your labs, and from your lab, from your university lab, you cause disruption in the National Assembly, in the House of Assemblies, or the government house. And this technology has gotten to that place that we can do that. When they can no more meet in the House of Assembly, or the governor himself cannot no more occupy his house or his office, he will do something. They will do something. That is the next level that our technology, our protest should get to. Not destroy. In Ife then, we learned, as a student in Ife, because of the beauty of our campuses, or of our campus, and we don't touch even the plants. You understand? Ife is beautiful, and so we don't touch plant. It is every student coming to that campus knows. There's no way we will protest and destroy any of our properties in the University of Ife. That is the orientation our students need to get. That you don't need to destroy the little one you already have for study. What we need to do now is, people can shoot gun in America and it will get to Nigeria. They are what we call intercontinental ballistic missiles. We can develop all those things even in our own labs and all that. By the time we begin to develop that and use, do you understand? Many people cannot occupy their homes. That's why you have IDP camps, left, right, and center in the country. People are evacuated from their home. You understand? They have been expelled from their homes. You need to begin to expel the National Assemblies, the House of Assemblies, and all that. By the time we get to that level, they will be forced to do things. There's no way dialogue. It's an insensitive people, a selfish, thinking of only themselves. Immediately, they go back to their account and they are told that they have the account, federal government account or state government account is depleted. The next thing to think about is to return back to the people in the form of tax or some charges. That is why we are noticing increment in charges. Is it because they want to improve the facilities on campus? It is not. It's not. It is because one person needs more money to be able to go and build a house in Dubai, or go somewhere, go for holidays and all that. That is all the reasons for increment in school. It's not because they want to improve the facilities. You see this? I've told you about ordinary electronic boards. We don't have them. We don't have one in University of Benin. Most of our classrooms are supposed to you are supposed to beam your lectures, so that students will understand the teaching. Go now at the labs, anything anymore in the lab, you find about 30 students around one burette. When I was in the secondary school, it was myself alone to one burette in the chemistry lab. But now go to our practical classes, you have 30 students around one burette. So at the end of the day, it's only one student actually that is doing the practicals. Because you must learn how to open the burette, how to do the titration yourself and all that. Other students are just watching. What kind of training are we getting? Okay. That is the same thing. Those who are reading medicine is one person that is cutting one cadaver. Because they need to dissect and learn the way the muscles are attached to the bones, and then the way bones are, for you to become a good medical doctor. But at the end of the day, it's only one that is cutting, the rest are watching. So what kind of training are we doing in the country? And it's total collapse. The country is that is where we are now.
Okay, now still on you, Prof. Why I don't understand why we have one federal government but we don't have the same school fees in federal universities. Why do I have to pay something as little as 40-something thousand in University of Benin and pay over 100,000 in Port Harcourt and pay over close to 90,000 in Calabar? Is it not the same federal government?
Okay, the variations in the
school fees.
Let me ask you now. That is why I stated just now about the level of interest, whether they have interest in our schools or not. They don't have. The reason is this: the cost of graduating a student from the university, is it different? Because, okay, the salaries that are paid by federal government to a professor across the universities in the country, is it not the same?
Yeah.
Those are the people teaching. That is one of the major costs to any university administration or administrator. The salary component is, what is it that the students will also need again? The chemicals are the same, it's the same open market, and all of that they all go to. So what is now the reason why you have variations in school fees? Number one is that the regulatory agencies have also collapsed. NUC, for instance, has said it is supposed to be, they even gave the leeway. They said between 0 and 45,000 naira. That is what every university should charge. But you have not read that now that some universities are charging above that, 50, 60, 70. But however, even acceptance fees, there are many other hidden charges. We used to hear that when you want to take a loan before. But now as a student, if you tell a parent the school fees is 45,000 or whatever, you are just starting. Because there are so many hidden charges. You have acceptance fee, different one for this hostel. Even you go to department during registration, the student will need to departmental dues, and these are no small money anymore. You understand? So the issue is that this country, a trap has been set for a poor man, and he is catching the poor man very live. That is the truth.
Okay, now talking about private schools. Most of the private schools, universities in Nigeria are owned by churches. Most of them are owned by mission churches and all that. A lot of arguments have been on social media about what the school fees should be like. Because it's a school owned by a church, the school fees naturally should be cheaper because church members need to be able to go, and a lot of people come in the defense, and it's just a lot of arguments. But what's your personal opinion on those private institutions, private universities, and the fees they pay because they are linked to churches? Should they be reduced, or they are just okay?
For the fees charged by churches, churches own these schools. They are run by churches, but the workers there are not church members. Some of them are not. They need to be paid their salaries at the end of the day. So there is no way we can say private schools should be free for students to come in. And there are facilities, there are things that are needed. So if you cannot afford a private school, that's why the government school is there. So for you to make a choice, I'm not of the opinion that churches, schools built by churches should be free. This is not the time. It was in those days we had missionaries were coming, they were sponsoring schools and everything. I work in a private school, but at the end of the month, I'm paid myself. I'm not a volunteer worker. And there are many others who are no volunteer workers. The professor will expect his salary at the end of the month. The secretary will expect his or her salary at the end of the month. So I'm not of the opinion to query any charges made by private school. What of our own government, those that own us, those that govern us? The federal, the government. If the governments were doing what they were supposed to do, I'm not sure there will be rise in private schools. See, even today, there are private kindergarten schools. There are private primary schools. So if government live to the expectation, the parents are striving. They still want the best for their children. They still want, their children to benefit, no matter how little it is. That's why they run to private schools. So let government live up to their expectation, then we will know where we are.
Okay. Now, is it possible that, okay, this is a question for the both of you, and that will be the last question.
No, even this question, I thought you have to, you know, Madam will not answer that question well. Because she is in the private school, she lectures in the, she will say something different.
Okay.
The issue here is, it is very clear that the private schools are profit driven. That is the essence. It's the same Nigerian character. The people in the churches were the one who paid through tithes and charges or whatever they call it built those schools. You ask me now, are those who paid the tithes able to send their children to those schools? Can their children benefit from those schools? Now you hear there are some schools by a particular mission, they are doing so well. It's the politicians that are now sending their children to those schools. Do you understand? But the issue is this. The truth about it is, some of us still offer, if those schools are free and then you are asking for volunteer service, people will go and volunteer. I'm a local school church board, me, sitting here in a school, there's a primary school where I'm the chairperson of the board. Do I earn one kobo from that school? No.
The school free?
No, now, the school is not free. But meanwhile, my service is free.
Don't you pay your tax? Yes, is it not from the tax you pay that government do some things and they still expect you to pay? There is no way private schools can be free.
Totally free.
So I
think it should be cheaper.
Yes, in some cases it is. I don't want to personalize my own school. I told you that there are courses still as low as 200,000 in a private school. Students are there, they are taking lectures there. So you cannot generalize that every private school is expensive, every private school is, but I've just told you some basic things, why we should not over-expect private schools to be free, And those of them who pay tithe, who are church members, they have some other rebates given to them. Like we have some courses that we have scholarship on for the members and even to all other Pentecostal churches. Aside you're a Christian, you're a Pentecostal church, you can apply for the scholarship. And if you get it, you can retain it. If your grade is at a particular level, you can have that scholarship for 4 years. So it depends. So I don't want to use one word to cover every year.
I'm citing an example that as a church chairman of a local school board, the children in that in the primary school are charged fees. Even a teacher in that school is also pays the same fees. Even if you bring your own child to the crèche, you will also pay the same fees. Teacher from the same church, working in the same school, we still pay the same amount.
Your service is there.
My service is
if you do not have a job, by the federal, because you need to feed your family, you will send your children.
Even if I have a job, since the school is profit driven, they should pay me.
Okay, all right. I don't know. I've never seen a protest, Joe, that maybe workers in a private tertiary institution are protesting that they're not paid enough, or they were not paid and all that. So, or the government coming that they've not been paying tax. It's a private institution. Let me leave that matter right now, and let me ask my last question for the show. Okay, we have leaders right now who went to school when they were fed. They had accommodations where you have 2 people in the room, free food and all of that.
They wash their clothes.
They wash their clothes.
Tissue papers are free.
Things. Yes. And we're pushing for youths to come on board. Youths that they will also need support and all of those. Most of these youths have schooled abroad and paid millions to get education. Do you think if we get all those youths on board, it would save this education increment school fees saga that we're experiencing right now? It will even make it worse. Let me start with you, Prof. Doctor, prophecy.
Well, they say it is he who wears the shoes that knows where it pitches. If I had schooled abroad, I would want to bring the culture that I have learned over there here. So why didn't you ask me that we should put youths who knows, who have felt, what is happening in our nation, When we bring them on board, then they will understand. If somebody had paid 3 million, you know, converting it from dollar, from euro to naira, 3 million for school fees, he will see the need to increase school fees. So, but if we are all here, we know how it is here, we will see the need that, basically these are children need to be properly educated.
Okay.
They need, you know, maybe some element of free education to an extent, and not just hike in fees continuously.
Okay. Do you totally support her?
My own is, first of all, I want to remind ourselves here that Nigerian government can run all schools free, if possible. From education tax fund, every company in this country pays 2% of their profit to a particular account. That is what TED fund manages. If we manage them well and collect all these taxes well, and there are no, you know, the more you look, the less you see, we'll be able to run the universities at least with minimal school fees. Okay. That is the truth. But however, that is the youth, you need to erase conscientization. People need to grow differently. With this mindset now, even the youth are interested in is money. Everything now is in money. Nobody is thinking of any other value. Meanwhile, the Bible says you ask for not just anyway. It's okay.
Okay, now we have to go. If we want to stay here and talk, we'll talk some more and more and more. Before you know, we'll keep talking all day, and there's still so much more left unsaid. For parents, if you missed the beginning of the show, you have to go catch it up on YouTube so that you will have an overview of what you're going to pay for your children as they're getting into the universities this year. At least some of the fees. It's not beans. It's getting worse as the year goes. And we're hoping that eventually, one day, Moses or our Messiah will rise, and Joseph will come and save us. I'm Daisy Vice. I want to thank you for staying with us. Thank you, Professor Julius. Thank you, Dr. Meg, for being on the show. All right, next week we'll talk about something else. We have to go. Yeah, bye.